Hello everyone and welcome to my daily altcoin analysis. If you find my content valuable, I would really appreciate a like for my work and consider subscribing if you want daily updates. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss an update. I also have a separate video where I analyze Bitcoin and Ethereum daily if you are interested in that kind of analysis. Let's get to XRP. So today I will talk about the charts, but on the 50 minutes chart, because the price movement is very strong and impulsive. Yeah, we have huge price movements. So tracking the chart patterns is only possible on the 50 minutes chart at the moment. So what did we say yesterday about XRP? We have said the first good sign would be once we break the $2.36 to the upside, then we can expect prices going up to $2.45. And if we also break that to the upside, then we can go into the top area from $2.58. So basically this didn't happen. What we just got is we got break to the downside, a retest, and here we go. Then we said, okay, we might be in a falling wedge, which isn't a problem if we go on into that trend line and bounce on that, then we can still be bullish. If we break that also to the downside, then our last hope would be this orange bull flag. But if we don't keep that and get a good bounce here, then XRP is, I would say not bearish at all. I still assume that we fall a bit more. But now we are getting a new long entry. And what I would just do is, we have the orange trend line. I will make it longer. And if we break that to the upside, then I can catch a nice long trade. $2.24 is it currently. If we break that to the upside, then I can expect that we at least get into the fair value gap. And if we overshoot it, that would be even nicer. So Dogecoin. Same for Dogecoin. What we have said yesterday is we have this trend line, the white one. If we break it to the downside, then we are going to close most of the fair value gap here. This was still a fair value gap yesterday. And with here, we closed more than 50% of it. I have also said, okay, that's not a big deal. Even if we drop down to 17.4 cents, it would be still bullish because we still are having higher lows in the bigger time frame, on the bigger time frame. And now I would actually look for a nice long entry, which I don't see at the moment. Yeah, even if I do a trend line like this, it's too sharp for me. Yeah, I would still wait a bit and maybe it's going to be a bit better and then we can get a nice trend line with the right angle to get into the fair value area, between 18.5 cents to 18.8 cents. Now that is going to be very interesting, and there we have to see, are we going to break our X support, which is now resistance, to the upside again? The 18.9 cents are essential to break to the upside. Then I can be bullish for Dogecoin, and then we are going probably up again. Yeah, then we can go up to 20.4 cents. We don't know it yet, but I want to see the 18.9 cents breaking to the upside. And then I think we are going to have some gains on the long side. But so far, I still think that Dogecoin needs another low to close the fair value gaps. And from here, getting the strength and the power to close the other ones. And if you close those fair value gap areas, then it's just giving us more liquidity into the market. And then we can head to higher prices. Yeah, I would just keep that like this. Make an arrow so I don't forget what I said. Solana. So Solana looks far more bearish. We have set rising wedge, which broke to the downside, which even got a retest. I assumed that the $136 is going to hold, but if that breaks to the downside, then we are going to get the target of the rising wedge done. That happened, so I will take out the target. I can make this chart pattern right now because it's not ongoing. So far, it looks like that we are also going to break the $130 to the upside, which I think is not good for higher prices. Also, the RSI, to go into the 4-hour chart, the RSI still has a lot of space to the downside. Yeah, we also got a breakdown here a few hours ago. And now we have a lot of space to the downside, which can easily get the price down again for Solana. I would look for that this fair value gap might get closed. We also have here support at $121, and in the past, I remember the $121 because it was always good support, but also good resistance in the past. Yeah, so I would say Solana has huge potential to the downside. I don't see any kind of long setup for Solana. Maybe if we go back into the bear flag again, yeah, that means we have to get over the $132.40. Then I can think about that we are going to close maybe those fair value gaps. And the nice thing about that is if we get up into that area, then we can get into a long position. That's what I'm going to do. And I set my stop loss lower than the bear flag. So if we even get up here and I don't take profits, then I will set my stop loss always up to the bear flag. And then I get stopped out, maybe even in profits, yeah, depending on how long it's going to take. But I'm trying to save my trade. If I'm going to get into a Solana long position, then I'm going to save it very quick. So far it looks short to me, down to 126 US dollar. Cardano. So we have tracked that for Cardano as well. We have set a rising wedge, which broke to the downside, and we perfectly hit the target. So I can take out the target and can make it white right now because it's not ongoing. So what we have said is, here was a fair value gap, which we closed, and we dropped even more into the target of the rising wedge. And here I want to see a higher low. So basically I would take this out right now. So far we didn't get any positive price movement to the upside. If we break the 69.6 cents to the downside, then I would be bearish for Cardano, and then I think we can even drop down to 67 cents. Like this. But if we get over 70.8 cents, then it would be very positive, because this might just be a possible double bottom pattern. Yeah, but we have to break it to the upside and not to the downside. If we break it to the downside, then the double bottom pattern is invalid, and then we are going to reach for lower prices, and that's a good short opportunity. But also on the other side, if we break the 70.8 cents to the upside, it would be a nice long entry, because we have a huge fair value gap here, and I think we can easily get into that resistance area right here, this one, and that's also similar to the target of the double bottom pattern. Yeah, so basically getting into that trade would be 1.7% or even up to 3% for Cardano, and to the short side 2%, yeah, let's say up to 4% for Cardano. Render. So same here, we have tracked a rising wedge. The target got hit, but what we have also said is we have huge fair value gaps lower than us. So basically, if we get into the target area of the rising wedge, which we already did, so I will make it white, then we can actually expect that since we are close to the fair value gaps, that we are going to close them. And it actually looks like it. Yeah, we can see we got a good bounce, but now we don't get the strength for another push. So basically, I think that we still have some space to the downside where we can get the fair value gap areas. If we break the $3.78 to the upside, then I would be positive for render, and then we can also get into the fair value gap areas over us, up to $3.96. That would be a nice opportunity for render, but so far render is still short to me. I would consider taking my profits once we get a break to the upside, $3.78. If we get it, then I would switch to a long position. So the Pi coin. Pi looks stronger than the other coins. Yeah, but we also came from far up, so we didn't get any price movement to the upside yet. We are still waiting for it. So far, we tracked a falling wedge pattern. We got the breakout, we got the retest, and now we need a follow through. So far, what I might see is a double bottom pattern. If we break the 87 cents to the upside, yeah, that would be a positive indication, but I'm not going to take the trade once we break that to the upside, because we are in a panel and this panel is going to be resistance. So if we break that to the upside, it might be possible that it's just going to be a fake out, and then we might see prices falling for the Pi coin. I would wait for the 90 cents breaking to the upside, then I'm ready for a long trade. The target of the falling wedge would be up to $1.33, but I personally think $1.16 to $1.21 is going to be very realistic. What I don't want to see is breaking the 81 cents to the downside. If we do, then as you can see, we still have liquidity gaps in that area, and our next support would be the 62 cents. That's going to be our support, because in that area we don't have any price movement where we can say, okay, here we have built some support. Yeah, the only thing I see is at 62 cents for the Pi coin. SUI. So we have said for SUI, it's very positive that we broke the bear flag to the upside, we retested it, and when we got here, I have said we need the follow through, and then we can be bullish for SUI. The thing is, the follow through didn't happen. We got a very little bit, a bit higher than the old high, but we didn't get a candle close over it, so it's not a follow through. Instead, what we have built here is a double top pattern, which broke to the downside, and the target is going to be the $2.48 for SUI. To go into the 50 minutes chart, I would be positive. It would be positive for SUI if we break the $2.57 to the upside. The target of that possible double or even triple bottom pattern, this right here. The common target would be the $2.62, but I think since we have a liquidity gap here, it might be possible that we get even up to $2.68. Or we are just going to retest the old support which we lost, which is then resistance, and from here getting down. I think overall SUI is going to get a new lower low than this here, just because we have a lot of fair value gaps here, and also the target of the double top pattern is in that fair value gap. But it's not a big deal in my opinion, because the whole chart structure is still looking good as long as we don't break the red trend line to the downside sustainable. Yeah, so if we hold the $2.46, it's going to be good for me. Even if we lose that support and wick a bit lower, if we don't break the $2.38, it's still looking good for me for SUI, and then we can expect higher prices, probably up to $3. Ondo. So for Ondo we have said, okay, rising wedge pattern which broke to the downside, we got the target here. What we have also said is if the white trend line breaks to the downside, then we are going to get into the fair value gap areas, which we had built here. And what happened so far, we closed most of it. Now we have the next support. I will take this circle out. So what I want to see is a good bounce, but it's not looking like it. I still think that we still have some space to the downside, down to 83 cents. But if we don't get a push here, then it's not looking good to me. And when would I be very bearish for Ondo? The 82 cents. If we break that to the downside, then I think we might get a new low for Ondo. The chances are very high that we even drop down to 75 cents. But also what I think is kind of positive is we have a huge fair value gap over us, between 90 cents to 88 cents. I can't see any chart pattern here for Ondo, yeah, beside the rising wedge, but we already got the target of it. I don't see any kind of trade which we can do early. Like I can do a trend line like this, but then we will get our entry at 90 cents, and that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for an earlier entry, so I have to see what the chart is going to tell me. I hope that we get some kind of structure where I can, for example, get then a nice trend line, and then we bounce on that, for example, like this. And if we then get a breakout, then I'm going in a long trade for Ondo. So HBAR. HBAR also built up fair value gaps, many of them, which I think is positive if we want to long it in the future, but for now it's not looking good to me. What I also thought about Ondo is that we still have a huge liquidity gap below us, between 17.5 cents to 17 cents. And I think HBAR is going to need another low. Yeah, so while other coins are probably making this a stage of sidewards, HBAR is probably doing this. So how would I trade it? So here we go. If we break the resistance at 18.5 cents to the upside, then I would be positive that we are going to get at least those fair value gaps. Maybe not most of it, but probably up to 19 cents, which is going to be another resistance. If we break that to the upside, then we can even go up to 19.2 cents for HBAR. So, thank you for watching. If I gave you surplus value, I would appreciate a like, and click the like button. No, okay, I messed up. Anyway, thank you for watching, and see you next time, and I hope you get huge gains today.